The Flash 766, Kevin Shinnick and Will Conrad on the art. This is wrapping up this 4-issue fill-in arc before Endless Winter begins, and I'm happy it's over. I'll say that much.
I forgot to read it. I thought, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then I was reading all my books before we started, and I was like, eh.
I don't even know. So if you remember last issue, it's established this idea that Desmond he'd kind of merged with all of the past like holders of the Philosopher's Stone, so all the previous alchemies and other chemists who had ever used it. And Desmond seems a bit more straight-headed because he sort of like fights through and talks to Barry for a minute and says, "Oh, you have to recreate the Philosopher's Stone. Maybe then I'll be able to like fight back against these others." And Barry's like, "How do I know I can trust you?" And he's like, "Well, you don't. But I mean, these guys all seem worse." Barry gets John Stewart to take out his eye cameras. If you remember, he's got those in his pupils. I'd
forgotten, to be honest.
Yeah, they talked to Will Magnus because one of his ancestors is one of the chemists, you know, tied to alchemy. Honestly, though, Barry ends up just kind of like, he essentially builds the Philosopher's Stone off panel, right? We never actually see him really do it. It just kind of has happened, apparently. And he runs into alchemy. They fight. It turns out Desmond was being coy, and he's actually not as out of control as he seemed to be, and he's actually pretty evil. And there's like a weird moment here in the middle where alchemy uses the stone to like start to turn all the buildings in the street that they're on into acid. And Barry yells out he's turned the buildings into liquid acid, and of course my mind could only go, boiling acid.
Can't blame me on that one.
That's a Batman Forever reference for anyone.
That's a very on-brand movie reference for this show.
Yeah, it's a DC movie. But I'm just always laughing because that last time we watched it to review, it was the first time I'd ever noticed that same character popped up again at the later on, and he's the one who yells out, "It's Batman!" as he like jumps to the.
I'm pretty sure half of our review is you just doing that line over and over again.
It's boiling acid. Oh, it's terrible. Barry saves people. He uses the he uses his Philosopher's Stone that he made to change the acid into like ice or something. I don't know. He's transmuted things. Look, I'll be honest. This issue, like, it was I was so out of it and didn't even really want to read it that much. I thought I'll just do it to finish things off. That I was kind of skimming it a bit more than reading it in depth by the time I got to the back half, because I really didn't give a shit about anything that was happening.
You were hoping I'd read it as well, so I could pick up on some of these bits.
I was, yes, and you've left me hanging here, you little prick. So,
well, you know.
But basically, Barry starts running around him, and something, you're doomed to turn to stone because you're using the Philosopher's Stone, chemical reaction, something.
Is this another one of those weird leaps this run's had?
I mean, I could read you a couple of narration boxes that explain it if you want. I mean, I
don't know if there's an actual good explanation or if this is just another one of those weird, oh, well, that must be the case, and leap to this and that, like this arc has done consistently.
Hold on. Both alchemy are using Elysium, which is the element that Barry created, of course, if you've forgotten that, to protect his ring from the Speed Force or something.
Sure.
To protect ourselves from the Philosopher's Stone. He uses it to stop the stone from taking over his body, so it occurred to me that I could use it to possibly block the stone from taking over my mind. My greatest scientific, because the stone's corrupted everyone that's ever used it, so that's just how Barry uses it and doesn't get screwed up, blah blah.
Sure.
My greatest scientific contribution is Elysium. It isn't creating Elysium, but it's finding a way to dissolve it using rapid friction and leave the alchemy open to all attacks and all the stone's properties. So basically he's disintegrating the protective Elysium that alchemy is using to protect himself from the stone, and when he dissolves it all, alchemy turns to stone, and that's how he defeats alchemy. So he's literally a stone statue when Barry defeats
never to
him.
Be seen again.
I think he's taken to, like, is it the museum he's taken to? It's Iron Heights. Of course it's Iron Heights. Why would it be a museum? But he's literally. But what's funny is he's literally got like a base with a plaque on it, as if he's actually a statue that was like put up.
Like on a plinth.
Yes. Yeah. There's a scene where Barry's like hiding outside like a jewelry shop, and the guy comes out. He's like, "Hey, you're looking for a ring? I can see that look in your face." And he's like, "Oh no, not really. I'm waiting for a friend." He's like, "A lady friend?" He's like, "Well, yeah, technically, but I wasn't looking for a ring." And the guy's just like, "Hey, look, if you when it's time to take that step, come back and come see me because I want to help you get the right ring." So it's
I want that sale, damn it.
So it's I guess it's seeding the idea of like setting up the Barry Iris marriage, which I was not expecting from a villain arc. I have to say.
All I'm saying is, frankly, if Barry doesn't propose with the flash ring, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because DC have got plans coming up soon to actually address a Barry and Irish marriage of some kind, and they told the fill-in writer here to like put in the first little inkling of that idea for later, but it does feel a little bit out of nowhere here.
It feels particularly weird after this arc in particular, where their relationship was all over the place.
Yeah, it felt really weird and not even rocky, just oddly
early
out of character and early and weird and yeah. So Barry runs away from Iron Heights, says he's going to keep his head on straight, and it just says to be continued in Justice League Endless Winter issue 1. I mean, it's not really a continuation of this. I mean, unless the statue of alchemy pops up in the story.
No, I can tell you now that, like, for example, Justice League Dark, the end of that also says to be continued in Endless Winter, and I don't think the final page is a tease for that. I think it's a tease for after Future State, basically. Yes.
I think that's fair. I just want people to buy Endless Winter. That's essentially what it is.
I suspect Endless Winter will be more enjoyable than this Flash arc. I will be shocked if it's not.
As for a rating, I mean, it may be the worst of the 4 issues just because it
was such a low bar already.
The structure just isn't there, so I'm probably going to go with like 4.5, 4. I'll go with 4. I'll go with a straight 4.